what's up, y'all? Welcome to another edition of Mr. Parker's Neighborhood. And yeah, it's a special piece. As you see me wearing emblems of the View. And then yeah, something like that there. My guest today is you know what? Let's go ahead. I wasn't gonna do it before, but let's go ahead and do it. This is gonna be different though. This ain't gonna be what does my guest do now. It's gonna be what did my guest do for us to meet. All right, ready? Was he A, baseball player, B, basketball, C, we just was catching the neighborhood that knew each other, D, a quarterback on the football squad, or E, two of the above? All right, that's it. Y'all ain't gonna know. So, hey, tell them how we know each other and which one of them was right.
Big dog, what's up, baby?
What's happening, Mr. Charles Watson? What's happening, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Charles Watson, RG Club, number 11. I was the quarterback of Riverview Gardens High School back in 86-87 season. How you doing, my brother?
I mean, you've been my quarterback from day one, so it wasn't. We ain't just talking about senior. 84 when we walked up in there, bad boy.
Much love. He's back here, baby.
Yeah. So again, tell them a little bit about who you are, what you've been through, and we're gonna move on from there. Just start off with are you from St. Louis originally, and how that break down?
Born and raised on the west side. I was actually, I was supposed to be playing ball for Sodan. I grew up in the Sodan district actually. And what's kind of funny, Coach Davis at the time, who was the coach of Sodan varsity, he had heard about me in the neighborhood because of the arm strength that I had at the time. And so he got a hold of me through one of his players who I knew actually was my neighbor. Okay. And he actually came to my house. And I'm in the eighth grade. I was on my way to the eighth grade. No, I was in the eighth grade. And he tried to recruit me to come up to Soda my freshman year. I went up there for practice and threw the ball 90 yards standing still. And they were like, oh shit. And so he begged my mama, man, to allow me to come up there and everything. And he said, well, no, we need him up at Soda. And my mom was a graduate of Soda. So it was like, she said, no. He gotta go, like real soon. Because at that time, Stacey, my mom and dad had separated, man, and you know, as a little boy, man, you don't understand all of that, and so all I know, my daddy was gone.
Right.
So I was going through my things, and down in the city, dog, you had to fight. I fought every damn day, man, every day. I used to get beat up, and then I ended up beating up niggas. So beating up people. So
it's all right, baby.
So it was just one of them things. It was a life lesson learned, you know. So eventually I ended up moving out to Riverview District with my dad, and that's how I met you cats at the junior high. That's where we all met up at the junior high in 8th grade, and ever since we've been brothers. So
yeah,
here we are.
And like you just said, man, that's something that we got in common with the fact that when our parents, my mom and daddy divorced when I was like 5, but my thing was we were staying on. My mama we stayed on Wabata for a minute. Then my grandmama was on Arlington. My other grandma was on St. Louis Avenue. So it was like when we moved to the county, I was like, okay, we out here. And then when it came to playing baseball was my first love. I would catch the 41 lead bus to Fairground Park, and everybody down there either went to Sumner, Beaumont, or Vashon. So I was like you. I was in the mix of catching stuff from the city growing up. So it was y'all from the county. Yeah, I live in the county, but
I'm born and raised, nigga. I'm West Side to the day I die. So you know that's how I live my life to the fullest, man. Because that's where a lot of my life lessons came from the West Side. Of course, once you move to the county, you get a whole different flavor. Yeah. But it became another part of my lifestyle and became who I am today, a part of it.
And yeah, like you said, we met in the 8th grade, and like I said, the thing about me and you, we connected because at that point in time, Chuck, based on everybody coming through, nobody in the crew that I knew had a bigger foot than mine. So they teased me all the time. So when you came through the door, we in gym class. Like, I said, bro, what size shoe you wearing? You talking about
Right.
14? I'm like, my dog. I'm 13. I said, you can't be my cat. I can wear your shoe if I have a problem. I
No,
couldn't wear
dog.
nobody else's shoe,
I think,
tanking out and having
I
all the
think,
little bitty feet.
and actually, Cecil, when I got to 8th grade, that's when my foot stopped. So right now, I'm still at about a 14. My cowboy boots is 15, but I still wear 14, man.
Yeah, I'm still at 13. Hey, man, it stopped right there. But like I say, it's amazing because like I said, it was. I mean, we had so much back then. Your thing was if you couldn't take a joke,
Right.
you better not tell one.
Right.
And with us, it was like
It's
you was
coming.
in Jones City.
Yeah, it's coming. Well, again, where I come from, man, down in the hood, a lot of them fights was because we joining on each other, and you just couldn't take it no more. The next thing you want to do, you want to fight. So I get it, and like even now, I'll be 55 this year, man, and I'm still joining on cats. It don't make me mad. I got some cats now that I hang out with. They love the Joan. They look younger than me. I said, y'all don't really want this smoke, dog. I come up around comedians, man. This is all we do.
That's
This is
it.
what I do. Still.
And like you said, the thing about that too was when we got to the point where you couldn't think of nothing else, and you did throw these up, it was the fact of you threw them up just to say, "All right, get up off me." But then when you threw them, it was like, "I like this cat though." So whatever happened, we fight today. Tomorrow, that shit roll, dog.
It's over with. It is what it is.
And like I said, I think that's the thing that's missing because, like I said, that's how we. And I laugh about it now, but that's how we put a whole lot of our bonds came together because we threw them hands. And once you do it, when you finish fighting, it's like, all right, you can hang, me and you good, and we can roll on from there.
Right. And again, and like you, my lifestyle in the neighborhood was basically I had to learn to throw my hands. And so I did a lot of street boxing, a lot. This MMA shit they doing in the shit, I did that on a daily basis. And so it taught you how to defend yourself. Because at one point in time, you're going to have to defend yourself. And if you know how to do it without doing violence, gun violence, or whatever, you can throw them from here. You really set the precedence of who you are. You know what I'm saying? You set the tone. So a lot of niggas ain't gonna try you. So what it is, I used to hit a lot of weights. I started pumping weights, and then all of a sudden I started getting bigger and bigger and bigger. And I'm like, okay. And then my strength came, and then I'm starting hitting cats. And they folding in. I'm like, okay, got them, about to knock them down. But at the end of the day, man, we did what we did, man. It was cool.
Yeah, and like you said, I mean, and going through that, like you just said, we did stuff. And again, me and you, being that when we came through junior high, I thought I was a tall Negro with everybody else based on the schools I was at. I'm like, all right, cool. So I'm getting teased for having big feet, being tall, then these daggone ears of mine. So I'll get, and then my, and I'm gonna I told him to his face too, but I'm gonna tell him again. One person that made me really become who I was as far as being strong, my man, we love him, Charles Mitchell. Chuck was the only one who could come in a room and I'm cool. And the first thing he say was, "What up, pig nose?" Hey man, why you? And me and Chuck, that was our class.
And Chuck Mitchell is probably one of the, and I tell him now, Chuck and I are related.
Right.
And I just tell him all the time, even if it was odd is he and I grew up together as kids on the West Side, not knowing that we were related. Then we found out once we got to high school that we were related. But I've always told that Negro, man, you a big ass bully. And even now he's still Chuck is truly, truly an alpha male. And so he demands attention when he come in the room. And he demands you to look at him and pay attention to him. And sometimes he will bully you to make you pay attention to him. But that's just was.
And the thing, like I said, the thing about that was with Chuck, I mean, and Junior, we going back and forth. And like I said, me and him, I mean, it's just like every time he come in this room, and then freshman year hit, and I'm out with my baseball squad. He out with his, and our coaches to put us together. I'm like, you playing? He's like, yeah, what you doing? And we hooked up on that, but then football kicked in, and man, after the first practice, I think when we had like back when we could do it then, we had the bull ring and we was going at it. we finished that up. We in the locker room. I'm looking at him. He looking at me. He's about, So you got a little something. All right. And that is a whole different move from that point on. Hey, me and Chuck was catching the bus together, going down the fair and Lee and all that. And but the bomb kicked in to where it was like, yeah, this dude here. And I used Chuck as my energy. When Chuck would say something crazy, I'm like, I'll wait. Football field, I'm taking it out on everybody. But like I said, I mean, them friendships like that, it's how we made friendships through different kind of adversity. So I mean, as far as like you said, when you came to Riverview though, we ain't gonna lie, when you threw the ball one time, and it was just like, this dude here that home is a motor scooter, man. No, we running deep on everything.
Right. So again, man, to get to that point in life, man, and be able to do what you love to do, play ball, and that's all I knew. Of course, I had to get the grades to go with it, but at the end, it was always a blessing to be around you cats, man, and do what we did in the Suburban North. You know, we are part of history. We're part of Suburban North history. And I think that it was a blessing for all of us to come together at that point in our lives.
So, like you said, coming from the city to Riverview, and then being in the setup to where, really for me, I think that with you, Mr. Walker, really opened the door for you to be your quarterback, to find your niche.
I had already knew where I was going to be even before I came, because of my background and where I came from and from the teachings that I got to be in that position. First of all, you had to be able to be a leader. And so that was really installed in me before that I was even learning and taught the game, is how to be a leader. And then once that was established, then here come the training for the ball. And it wasn't even about the ball at the time. It was just basically about conditioning and getting yourself together, prepare yourself for being a quarterback. So it's a lot of different elements that you put together. And you know, even at that age, I was cool, you know, and I was good with it, and so it was well taught, man. So yeah.
So as far as your the biggest, I guess the biggest hurdle or obstacle you had to get through being quarterback at Riverview, what would you say that was?
It really, I'm gonna be honest with you. Once we became freshmen at Riverview, and once we established who we were as players on the field, I became even more confident, to the point where I knew that this is what I wanted to do. Okay. I was also, once we finished that up, I think we went undefeated. Did we not go undefeated our freshman year?
We lost one.
We lost one. So at the end of the day, man, we did what we did. So, but then after that, once I was like one of the first sophomores in Riverview that went varsity. So at that point, I had made a little history too for myself. So it gave me, and I know y'all was upset with me, and please forgive me. I was, it was just an opportunity that came to me, and I had to take it. So I was one of the first sophomores to play varsity football for Riverview. I think Ben Broadneck, if I'm not mistaken, was one right in front of me. Right. But anyway, so to get that experience, it was tough. You know, I had already been playing with older guys anyway, so it wasn't tough. It was more easier for me to adapt and adjust. So by the time we became seniors, man, it became natural. So right. we had fun. I tell everybody today, even in 2022, 23, that I played with one of the best teams in the state of Missouri, not just the state of Missouri, the whole state of the United States. You know what I mean? We played 10 games and we shut out 6 teams. And then the other ones all combined, I don't think nobody really got beyond the half line. Mm-mm. So, and then the only time they got beyond that is when they flip the field around. So.
Right. But like you said, I mean, and that's the thing about it, what people really don't understand, is that we were the last of the system that was flawed, as they say,
Right.
because we missed the playoffs our senior year because a team in Fox finished below a team that Hazelwood East played, and it was like,
Right.
what they got to do with us though? But I mean, and then after that they go to that 3 games. Man, we had that, Doc. If we would have had that 3, it would have been a run.
Well, I mean, again, for all your non-suburban North people who want to see this, Suburban North at that time was the top conference in the whole state of Missouri. Yeah, y'all had the PHL, but at the end of the day, Suburban North reigned supreme. I mean, did nobody want to see Suburban North? Nobody. And so I know they had the Sumners and the Vashons in football, you know, the Sodans and all of them, but they didn't want to see Suburban North. And so at that during those years, man, now that you look back, it was something special. It was
Yeah,
a special
yeah,
conference
yeah.
made up with some special athletes that can do some special things, man. And and like I do arguments nowadays. You know, what we consider our bottom part of the conference can possibly go run anybody else's conference. I ain't gonna call them out by names, but the bottom part of the conference can actually go run other conferences and be
Yeah,
top. But
yeah,
that's just the caliber of players that came through the Suburban North.
yeah. And like you said, as time went on, I mean, like I said, you had Central, you had Riverview won the championship, but then you come right and you got Pattonville and top, you got Rich. It's like you said, those teams who for us was like, all right, move to the side. As time went on, they evolved too. And as far as I want to say coaches go, who was your now I want to say favorite, but who was the coach you think gave you the most leeway to do and be you?
Nicastro gave me the opportunity. Charles Nicastro gave me the opportunity to become a varsity player as a sophomore. Apparently, he saw something in me as who I am, and put me on the roster. But of course, when Greco stepped in as head coach, he came and pulled me out of class, man. And I thought something was wrong, but he pulled me out of class. He walked me down to the gym and he told me, "You're gonna be my quarterback for next year." I said, "What do you mean?" I said, "What you talking about, Greg?" He said, "Well, I just got the head coaching job, and you're gonna be starting quarterback next year." I'm like, "Man, football season we ain't got through summer school yet. What the hell, really?" He said, "Yeah, you're gonna be starting quarterback." So when he gave me that nod, that let me know right then and there that I'm appreciative that that he looked at me like that. But it also showed that my character at that time was good enough for me to lead his team, his first team
Right.
that he had as a head coach. And Jim Greco was a starting quarterback for Riverview back in the '70s. So for him to come to me and tap me on the shoulder, it was an honor, really, you know, because I love Riverview. I mean, even today, my love for Riverview is so deep, it's retarded. It's just crazy, man. And so for me to be a starting quarterback and wear that number 11 and know the history of what number 11 represents. The number 11 for Riverview represents that you was a starter.
Yeah.
All the starting quarterbacks had number 11.
11. Yep. Yep.
And it actually started with Jim Greco, to be honest with you. That's why the number,
Okay.
that's where the really history come from. But all the number 11s were the starters for Riverview. And so when we see each other, I'm still in touch with a lot of the quarterbacks of the 80s. Ben
Yeah.
Brodnack.
Yeah.
I still talk to Ray Hodge, Melvin Perry, of course, myself. And then I see Vaughn Smith from time to time.
Okay.
And so we all kind of got this little bond. I even had a conversation with Christian Morton,
Okay.
which
Okay.
was the quarterback of the state team. And
Right.
so
Right.
and so he and I had a nice conversation one time at homecoming. And so when you become a leader like that at a school that was considered a powerhouse school,
Mm.
it becomes a double bond. You know what I'm
Right.
saying? That Brodnax and I have always been cool. He's always, showed me love, even though he was older than me, but he always showed me love on how to represent Riverview uh, as a quarterback. So
Right.
I loved him for that, and all the guys that came before us. But play on the squad that you and I played on, dog, was a very special squad.
Yeah. Yeah. It
I mean,
was.
I had two of the best running backs in the state of Missouri at that time, Rod Elvis and Aaron Barbers. You can't beat that. I know this. I know the big Mario's. I know he might see this big Mario. He might say something. And then we play Bob Christian over in McClure North. He might say, I have two of the best running backs in the state of Missouri. I don't give a damn what they say. But that was that was a special team, man. It was a special team.
And like you said, it's so crazy because again, the way you do stuff where, like I said, the running back, like I say, I mean, and nobody, I mean, I got the freshman article, I put it up, but the freshman article, our freshman year, the Suburban North said there are 3 things Riverview Guards is gonna do. They're gonna hit you, they're gonna find a running back that's gonna run with over you, and they're gonna score a run. I mean, they're gonna score, it don't even matter. And like you said, that's freshman year for our squad. Yeah. That was our squad, Doc. And it kept on from that point on. But again, it's a fact of like I said, it comes down to where we as because I played line, I was this lineman and I played offense and defense. I went both ways all 4 years. But the thing of it is that with us for the line, when we watch the Suburban North, we looking at them see, boom, Rod got 1,000 yards, Aaron got 1,000 yards, Chuck threw for 2,000 yards. So it's like, yeah, we did our thing. Everybody, oh, y'all didn't do that. Y'all lying. They don't get there without us.
Yeah, it can't. You got to have a good side. And the line that I had, which you were a part of, and I tell people this all the time, especially little league coaches, if you want your linemen to be good, you want them to be wrestlers in the off season, because being a wrestler, it helps you maneuver and learn how to maneuver bodies. So all of you all, well, at least at one time, were wrestlers.
Yeah.
So you had to James Powell was a state type wrestler,
right?
And then we had it was you, Chris Cannon,
Marvin Gillespie for a minute. Jay Kramer.
Jay, that's what I'm thinking about, Jay.
Yeah.
So to have them guys and have you guys on that line, man, it really made it easy. Yeah, and we've been in the trenches together. We had a lot of ups and a few downs. And so I've been in the trenches with you cats, man, and to go back and try this again, I have my same people. I wouldn't trade it for nothing in the world. Again, y'all protected me so good. I was just like, okay, now what? You know what I'm saying? Ain't nobody coming back here. What the hell? So, but we had a good time, man. We just had a good time.
Yeah. Okay. So after you leave the View, where'd you end up going?
I ended up going to Northwest Missouri State, where I played there for a couple of years. I got there and they switched me to running back when I first got there. And so I kind of excelled at that position. And then but me being a freshman, you have to start all over again. So now you got the juniors, sophomore, juniors, and seniors in front of you. And so now you trying to find your niche in this whole system. And here you are away from home. You're on the other side of the state. Mom and dad ain't there. And you're a freshman. You used to be the big dog, and now you're a little pup again. So now you're trying to really find yourself. And here you are, 18, 19 years old, and you didn't already smell yourself, and now you're getting ready to go to the next level of life, and not realizing that you're about to go through this tunnel that you don't have a clue about. And so here you are as a running back. Here I am as a running back at that time, and then they wanted to switch me to tight end. I excelled at that position. They didn't know what to do with me then, and because they wanted to get their juniors and seniors that look.
Right.
But I eventually ended up becoming a quarterback the 88 spring of 89. 88, spring of 88. I became quarterback. And at that time, they brought in an option. And so I excelled at that position. So it was just one of them things, man. And then all of a sudden, they come to me and tell me, we might not be able to use you because we got a kid coming in from another. He's a senior in high school right now. And his daddy is cool with the boosters. So now you're going through this mentality, and then you had a coach come to you and tell you, hey, man, look, if you want to go, you're capable of playing on any level of ball. And just so happened the coach was affiliated with Barry Switzer when he was down in Oklahoma.
Okay.
He said, if you want to go to Oklahoma, I'll call Barry. We can get you in down there. And at that time, you're not thinking like, okay, I want why am I going somewhere when I got a whole scholarship sitting right here?
Right.
not knowing that's what the word blackball was not in my mind at the time. But as you grow up and you think back and you like, okay. So that basically was my career, man. And I came home and got got depressed to a certain degree at a certain point because of the fact that I wanted to finish playing ball. Because I knew I could get to the professional level. But of course you gotta go through the different levels. So but it didn't work out. You know, the good Lord blessed me to live to have an interview with you today.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Yeah, man. But like you were saying, it we didn't realize until we got to college that there are so many political issues and situations. Cause you know, what I'm saying, when I went to Central Missouri State. I didn't go and play ball until I played. I walked on spring ball. I walked on, and after about the fourth week of spring ball, it was they did the old lay on your back drill and get up when the whistle blow.
Right.
This week I happened to be lined up with Ron Glass, who ended up being drafted by the Bills. So he